Hello folks, I'm back with the firearms comparison. It's going to be between the Glock 34 Gen 4 and the VP9L, meaning for Longslide. Now, between both of these particular firearms, this is, like I said, the Glock 34 Gen 4. This is basically all stock. You see the apex trigger, but I did not do any type of spring enhancements or anything of that nature, so it's pretty much stock except for how it connects and the trigger itself. This is the VP9 with the Longslide. The Longslide I mentioned in a prior video. I bought the slide that will go attached to the frame. Now, the full size of this will not be available till another date. I don't know what Heckler & Co. is doing at this point. Another addition to this is the magazine here. Nothing's loaded here. This is the 20-round magazine that I also ordered from the HK Parts website, their official website. And what I wanted to do is, since I've seen a lot of videos with the VP9 L's lately with the slide edition, they're using these in competition right now, but I haven't seen any videos where they are comparing them to, let's say, the Walther PPQ 5 match or even this Glock 34 or anything that fits the category. So I just wanted to give you my impressions there between the two firearms. I did take these to the range, and to me, I had a horrible day, but I'm not sure if that's even accurate. I haven't fired this in a while. This has over 1,000 rounds in it. And with this slide configuration, I can honestly say I might have anywhere between 200 and maybe 60 rounds with this long slide configuration. After today, it was around 400. But on the regular slide configuration, I have roughly about 800 rounds. So it's a little bit of a challenge. I'm trying to get used to the sight radius on this. This is one of the things that I struggled with, and you would figure it would be easy because you have this the fiber optic front sight. I'm still trying to figure that out. You'll see in a moment with my targets. I still did not make any adjustments on the rear sight because I wanted to see if it was my mistake on whether I'm holding the firearm wrong or whether I did not have the proper trigger technique. And I wanted to make sure. And I think it is my fault because I usually shoot this very well. And I've had the same issues that were on this firearm is the same that I had on this firearm. So I'm going to chalk that up as user error. I usually shoot pretty tight groups anywhere between 7 and 10 yards. But today I wanted to stretch that out to 15 yards, and I'm trying to pretty much target shoot, but at a decent pace. And I use a different target style, and you'll see those targets momentarily. Just to bring, I did put another video out. The video is 2 videos, the video for this one, video for that one on the ATN video cam, and I will link those in later. But what I see between the two of them, it doesn't really make a difference. The ergos on this, like I said, this is the Gen 4. I like the finger grooves of the Gen 4. So it was something I'm used to. I'm used to this style of grip. So I can't blame anything on the ergos. So it was still comfortable shooting this firearm. And I have one of those freakish hands that I really like these front finger grooves. On the VP9, on the other hand, it does have finger grooves, but it's not as, I guess, as pronounced as it is on the Glock. And plus, if you notice here, I added the largest plate and the largest side panels for a comfortable grip. So that works out for me. One of the things that I could say that may be a little different between the two, like I said, this has adjustable sights. This has adjustable sights as well, but this is the stock front sight and this is the goalpost design. So I'm very used to the goalpost design, so it doesn't really bother me that there was a goalpost design or not. I shoot my firearms basically from stock. I've never changed a sight out. So there are some firearms I do have, especially with Glock sights, left the goalpost design on there, or I have some with the fiber optic front. My main concern basically was from the top of the slide configuration all the way through. And that's what was my main concern, because I purchased the top slide to the VP9, and I just wanted to make a little bit of a comparison. Let's start with the Glock. Now, since I'm used to the Glock slide and how it tracks back, the slide comes back like in a decent motion, kind of like, I would say, a push motion. And this, like I said, this firearm is unloaded. I'm going to just break this down real quick. As you see, there is the dual captive spring assembly here, which aids in recoil. And also, since this is the Gen 4, this is the cutout top. And if you look in here, the way it is built inside here, you'll see the way it's constructed here. Nothing that's not familiar with other Glocks out there. Now, when you look at this one, to me, it has the relief cut. The cuts on the slide are different from the Glock, of course. I think they weigh around the same amount of pounds, because same around the ounces, I believe. I forget the number offhand. I'm not going to try to quote it, but they're made pretty much with different type of relief cuts in the internals, especially if you look at the bottom of the VP9, to where they took out some metal to at least help with lightening the slide for proper function. This spring guide assembly is also is metal itself. It is pretty much it's a flat wired spring assembly. So a lot of people are starting to like flat wire spring assemblies, because you have the less ability for coil binding with this assembly versus a regular spring assembly. And the flat wiring spring assemblies are also inside 1911s as of late. I know 6 Hour does that occasionally. But just to show you the insides and how the recoil assembly is set up, they're pretty much dead even when it comes to their, let's say, their recoil abilities. So they're pretty much dead even. They shot very well. Like I said, I have more trigger time on this than I do on the VP9. I will say this though, I'm trying to get used to this slide with the sight picture and all. I do shoot it in its regular configuration a little bit better, and I also shoot the VP9 SK a little bit better without the slide configuration, even though that slide won't fit on that particular firearm. I think it's a matter of getting used to the sight radius. I think a lot of the issues were on my part. So instead of boring you with the other stuff, I'm going to show you the targets and let you be the judge. Okay, here are the targets. Now, I decided to go with 10 to 15 yards with this. I'll try to use both of these firearms and use these firearms and do justice with them instead of going 7, 10 to 15 yards, which is my range length, for a longer distance at a moderate pace. So meaning I was shooting a shot, boom, and then reacquiring, boom. So it had a repetition of 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is roughly between, I would say, 10 and 15 yards because I was moving the target back and forth. This particular side is all the VP9L, and this particular side is all the Glock 34 Gen 4. All right, starting with this side, actually, my first shot, believe it or not, was up here. And I did not understand that. I don't know how I did that. But I did get back on target. I didn't even know I was off target and started shooting. So this is the tightest group area that I have. Now, the reason why I said there is human error, because you're holding your firearm wrong if your shots are going to high and right. So sometimes with certain firearms, they go high and right or either low and left. So this is a clear indication that this is a problem that I'm doing. But still, it's within the target frame. No rounds are outside. Again, here, it's high and right a little bit again. With everything staying inside the yellow zone. Like I said, I am not happy about these targets. I usually shoot at the worst in between this area of the ring here within the 8 ring. And it's probably was an off day. I have no excuses. Here is from the G34. The G34, all my shots stayed in here, but now I'm going high and left. So now I have to make adjustments. It's probably my grip. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't shot the Glock 34 in some time, but like I said, this is 13 to 15 yards. First shot on this particular target, dead on. I should, dead in the red right there. I should have stopped shooting at that point, because it's a perfect shot in the center. I probably couldn't duplicate that. I don't even think I ever shot a shot like that before. But then again, it's going toward high and left, a little bit low here. And under this string, high and left again, and off target. And I don't know how this shot got out there. So I'm pretty not happy with the shooting I did with both of these firearms. I don't really understand it because I was shooting, you're going to see in another video, I did another video, and you're going to see the difference from when I shoot my Legion P226 and this shooting here today, because I'm not happy about it, but I don't know if it's a difference because I've been shooting more double action, single action, or single act 1911s more. I don't know if that's the case, but I have no excuses for the shooting of this target. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking to you about the reason why I think there's a little bit of a difference because of what type of action pistol I'm shooting. Now, this is earlier in the week. This is with the Emperor Scorpion on the left, and this is with the Dan Wesson Guardian. Now, looking at this target, that was the same distance as the VP9 and the Glock 34. And see how there is a difference. Great shots here and there. So I'm kind of gambling and saying maybe it is a trigger thing with me. So this is the difference between earlier this week, same distance, and so forth. Okay, all in all, I just got to say is I just got to spend more time shooting. Especially, I'm trying to expand my range. I'm just so used to shooting at the combat length, which is 7 to 10 yards, and I just want to be able to shoot at greater distances, because you figure if you have any firearm that has a long slide, you should be taking advantage of that by having shots at longer distances and competently getting decent target hits, at least with at the worst, maybe 2 to 3 inches in the shot pattern. As far as the long slide with this, the only thing that I could say is when Heckler & Koch made this, I mentioned in my prior video, I think the only downfall with this slide is they did not put an optic-ready plate here. I can understand if they didn't have the suppressor height sights for co-witnessing on the for an optic-ready slide, you could kind of like forgive them for that, but there's no excuse not to have a cutout for a slide on here, since a lot of companies are going that way. Like I said, this is the Gen 4, and if you look at the newer models of the Gen 5s, even some of the Gen 4s, with this was an option. You can get this with the MOS version with the slide cutout. And of course, you know, the Gen 4s and Gen 5s, especially the Gen 5s, they all come with the optic ready portion of that. So this is what I think is HK's biggest fault, where they did not really plan this out thoroughly. Other than that, I think that HK has a good product here. I think its nearest competitor would probably be the Walther PPQ-5 match, because they're basically the same design pretty much. So with that said, I just wanted to show a comparison. It's not a versus where which one is better or which one is not, because as you saw with my shooting, this was you couldn't make a judgment like that. So in conclusion, happy shooting. #2A. Take care.